Have you ever found yourself in a room full of people and still felt completely alone? It's a strange and heavy feeling, isn't it? You laugh with them, you talk with them, but deep down you wonder if they really see you. Do they truly value who you are, or are you just a convenience, someone they keep around for their benefit? If these questions hit close to home, you are not alone. Too many people find themselves trapped in relationships, whether with friends, family, or coworkers, where they feel undervalued and unseen. But here is the truth. Staying in spaces where you are not respected slowly erodes your confidence, your spirit, and your identity. So why do we stay? Why do we hold on to people who don't appreciate us? The answer lies in human psychology. We are hardwired to seek connection, to belong. It's in our DNA. But here is the catch: when that need for belonging outweighs your sense of self-respect, you start settling for less. You allow people to walk all over you just so you can avoid being alone. But what if I told you T here is a different path? What if I told you that standing alone, even when it feels scary, is the first step to becoming the strongest, most authentic version of yourself? That's what this video is all about. By the end, you'll see that walking away from those who don't value you isn't just an option, it's a necessity for your growth and happiness. Stay with me till the end, and you'll discover the keys to unlocking your true worth. You'll learn how to recognize when you are being undervalued, why it's better to stand alone than to cling to shallow connections, and how you can build a life surrounded by people who genuinely respect and cherish you. This isn't just another video. This is a wake-up call. This is your moment to reclaim your power, to take control of your life, and to start living with purpose. So let's dive deep into this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Because the life you deserve starts with one bold decision to stand alone, if that's what it takes to honor yourself. Let's begin. It's natural to feel fear when you think about standing alone. The idea of leaving behind familiar faces, even if they don't value you, can be overwhelming. But let me ask you this: what's the cost of staying? Have you ever considered the price you pay for remaining in spaces where you are not appreciated? Standing alone isn't about isolation. It's about choosing yourself. It's about realizing that your worth is not defined by the number of people around you, but by how you treat yourself. Think about it: when you cling to people who don't respect or value you, you are sending yourself a message: I am not worth more than this. And over time, that message sinks in. It shapes how you see yourself, how you think, and even how you dream. But here is the truth. Standing alone is a declaration of strength. It says, I deserve better, and I won't settle for less. And this choice, while difficult, sets the foundation for everything else. Because when you walk away from what no longer serves you, you create space for what truly fulfills you. Let's break it down psychologically. Research shows that we become like the people we spend the most time with. Their attitudes, their energy, and their values seep into our minds, often without us even noticing. So ask yourself, what kind of energy are you absorbing from those around you? Are they lifting you up or dragging you down? Standing alone might feel like a loss at first, but it's not. It's an investment in your future. It's a bold step toward finding clarity and rediscovering your own voice. When you distance yourself from negativity, you start to see things differently. Your mind becomes clearer, your goals become sharper, and your self-confidence begins to grow. And here is the most beautiful part. When you learn to stand alone, you discover a power you never knew you had. You stop relying on others to validate you. You stop depending on external approval to feel whole. Instead, you find strength within yourself. You realize that solitude isn't empty, it's full of possibilities. It's where you meet the real you. Yes, it's hard at first. The silence can feel deafening, and the uncertainty can seem endless. But every step you take away from those who don't value you is a step closer to the life you deserve. Standing alone isn't just an act of courage, it's a statement to the world that you refuse to settle. So if you are questioning whether it's better to stay or to walk away, remember this. The path to true happiness often begins alone. It's not about how many people are in your life, it's about the quality of the connections you allow. And sometimes, the most powerful connection you can make is with yourself. Why do we stay in situations where we aren't valued? Why do we tolerate disrespect, dismissive attitudes, and indifference from others? The answer lies deep in human psychology. We are wired to crave validation. It feels good to be accepted, to be liked, to be told we belong. But this natural desire can become a trap, a cage that keeps us stuck in places where we don't truly thrive. Let's break it down. The need for validation stems from a primal instinct to survive. Thousands of years ago, being part of a group meant safety. It meant protection, resources, and a better chance of survival. Over time, this instinct became part of who we are. But in today's world, this need often manifests in unhealthy ways. You find yourself bending over backward to please people who don't appreciate you. You stay silent when you should speak up. You accept crumbs of attention, thinking it's better than being alone. But here's the harsh truth. Chasing validation from the wrong people is like drinking salt water. It will never quench your thirst. The more you seek their approval, the more you give away your power. You start basing your self-worth on how they see you. If they ignore you, you feel invisible. If they criticize you, you feel unworthy. And if they praise you, it's like a fleeting high gone as quickly as it came. But here is the truth you need to hear. Your value is not something others can decide. It doesn't rise or fall based on someone else's opinion. Your value is inherent. It's yours to claim, not theirs to give. The moment you stop seeking validation is the moment you start to reclaim your power. This doesn't mean shutting people out or refusing to connect. It means shifting your focus inward. Instead of asking, what do they think of me? Start asking, what do I think of myself? When you validate yourself, something incredible happens. You become free. Free from the need to impress, free from the fear of rejection, and free to live authentically. Let's think about this logically. If someone doesn't value you, why would their opinion matter? If they can't see your worth, that's a reflection of them, not you. Yet so often we let these people dictate how we feel about ourselves. It's time to stop. The only validation that truly matters is the one you give yourself. When you stop chasing approval, you start creating space for the right people to enter your life, those who see you for who you are and value you deeply. So, the next time you find yourself seeking validation, pause. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am enough. I don't need anyone else's permission to feel worthy. That simple shift in mindset is the beginning of your freedom. It's easy to ignore the signs when someone doesn't value you. You tell yourself it's not a big deal, that maybe you are overreacting, or worse, you start believing the problem is you. But let's pause for a moment. What if the issue isn't your perception but their behavior? Recognizing when someone doesn't value you is the first step to reclaiming your self-worth. So what are the signs? Let's make it clear. First, T here is inconsistency. They only reach out when it's convenient for them. When they need something, they're there. But when you need support, they're suddenly too busy. Their presence in your life feels conditional. And deep down, you know it's not mutual. Then T here is disrespect, which can be subtle or overt. Maybe they interrupt you when you speak, dismiss your opinions, or minimize your achievements. You might shrug it off as a joke or convince yourself that it doesn't matter, but over time, these moments chip away at your confidence. Another sign is emotional unavailability. You try to connect with them on a deeper level, but they keep everything surface level. They don't invest time in understanding your feelings or celebrating your successes. Instead, your relationship feels transactional, like a one-sided deal. Perhaps the most telling sign is how they make you question your worth. When someone doesn't value you, they might subtly or directly make you feel like you are not enough. Whether it's through criticism, indifference, or neglect, their actions send a clear message: you are not a priority. But here is the important part. These signs don't define you. They don't reflect your value. They reflect the other person's inability to see it, and that's not your burden to carry. So why do we tolerate these behaviors? Because admitting someone doesn't value us is painful. It's easier to make excuses for their actions than to confront the truth. But ignoring these signs only prolongs the damage. It keeps you stuck in relationships that drain you instead of uplifting you. The longer you allow someone to undervalue you, the more you start to believe their treatment is what you deserve. That's the danger. You settle for less because you forget what it feels like to be truly appreciated. But let me remind you, you are worthy of love, respect, and kindness, not just sometimes, but always. Recognizing these signs isn't about pointing fingers or holding grudges. It's about protecting your peace. It's about understanding that you deserve better and having the courage to walk away when you are not being treated with the respect you deserve. If any of this resonates with you, it's not too late to make a change. Pay attention to the signs. Honor yourself enough to say, this is not how my story will continue. Because the moment you recognize your worth is the moment you take back your power. T here is a deep sting in realizing that someone you cared for, trusted, or relied on doesn't value you. Betrayal and disrespect cut to the core. They leave wounds that aren't always visible but hurt just the same. And while it's tempting to ignore that pain, to push it down and pretend it doesn't matter, the truth is this: healing begins when you face it. Let's talk about betrayal. Betrayal isn't always a dramatic act. Sometimes it's quiet and subtle. It can be as small as a broken promise or as significant as someone turning their back on you when you needed them most. The pain comes not just from the act itself, but from the realization that the connection you thought you had wasn't what you believed it to be. Disrespect is equally harmful. It's those moments when someone speaks to you like your thoughts don't matter, when they dismiss your emotions or treat you like you are invisible. It can feel like your very presence is being diminished, like you are being erased piece by piece. But here's what you need to understand: that pain is a signal. It's your mind and heart telling you that something is wrong, that something needs to change. Pain isn't your enemy, it's a guide. It's saying you deserve better than this. Now let's look at why betrayal and disrespect hurt so much from a psychological perspective. As humans, we're wired for connection. We thrive on trust, on knowing that someone has our back. When that trust is broken, it disrupts our sense of safety and stability. It shakes the foundation of who we are. But T here is another side to this story. Pain, while difficult, is also transformative. It teaches you lessons you might not learn any other way. It shows you who truly values you and who doesn't. It pushes you to set boundaries, to demand more, and to stop settling for less. Here is what you need to remember. Betrayal and disrespect are reflections of the other person, not you. When someone mistreats you, it speaks volumes about their character, not your worth. Don't let their actions define how you see yourself. It's okay to feel the pain. Let it remind you of your value. Let it fuel your decision to stand up, walk away, and demand the respect you deserve. Because every moment you spend tolerating disrespect is a moment you take away from building the life you truly want. Betrayal and disrespect may leave scars, but those scars can also become your strength. They're proof that you've survived, that you've learned, and that you are still standing. Use that strength to move forward. You don't have to carry the weight of others' actions. Release it, let it go, and focus on the path ahead. Letting go is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It's not just walking away from a person, a relationship, or a situation. It's leaving behind a part of your life you once held close. That's why it feels so heavy, so uncomfortable, and at times so impossible. But the truth is, holding on to people who don't value you hurts far more than letting them go ever will. Why is it so hard to let go? Psychology gives us the answer. Our brains are designed to seek familiarity. Even when something is toxic or unfulfilling, if it's familiar, it feels safe. It's why people stay in relationships that don't serve them. It's why they hold on to friends who take them for granted or remain in jobs where they're undervalued. The fear of the unknown feels greater than the discomfort of staying where you are. But here is the thing about familiarity: it can become a trap. When you cling to what's familiar, you limit your potential. You settle for less because you are too afraid to reach for more. And that fear, while natural, isn't a reason to stay. It's a challenge to rise above. Letting go is an act of courage. It's a decision to choose yourself over the comfort of familiarity. It's saying, I deserve better, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. Yes, there will be moments of doubt. You'll question if you made the right choice. You might even feel the pull to go back to what's familiar. But remember this: nothing grows in a comfort zone. Growth happens in the unknown. Here is a powerful shift in perspective. Letting go isn't just about losing, it's about making room for better. When you release what no longer serves you, you create space for new opportunities, new connections, and new growth. You give yourself the chance to build a life that aligns with your true worth. Think about it this way. If you are holding on tightly to something in your hand, how can you open it to receive something better? You can't. The same is true in life. You can't welcome what you deserve while clinging to what's holding you back. The pain of letting go doesn't last forever, but the regret of staying where you don't belong does. Trust the process. Trust yourself. You are stronger than you think, and you are capable of walking away from what no longer serves you. Letting go isn't the end, it's the beginning of a life filled with respect, growth, and authenticity. So take that step, even if it feels small. Release the weight of the past and step boldly into the future you deserve. After you let go, something strange happens. T here is a void of silence that wasn't there before. It can feel unsettling, even lonely. But here is the truth. Solitude isn't a weakness. It's one of the most powerful tools for growth and self-discovery you will ever have. Think about it. When was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts? No distractions, no noise, no other voices influencing you. For many people, it's rare. We live in a world that's constantly busy, constantly loud, and in that noise, it's easy to lose yourself. But solitude offers something unique, clarity. When you step away from the people and situations that don't value you, you give yourself the space to see things for what they really are. You start to notice patterns, reflect on choices, and uncover truths about yourself that were buried beneath the chaos. Psychologically, this is transformative. Solitude allows your mind to process and heal. It helps you reconnect with your values, your passions, and your purpose. Instead of worrying about pleasing others or fitting into their expectations, you begin to ask, what do I truly want? And that question is the key to unlocking a life that feels authentic and fulfilling. But let's be honest, solitude can feel uncomfortable at first. Society often equates being alone with being lonely, but the two are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling of lack, of emptiness. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice. It's an act of empowerment. It's saying, I am okay with my own company because I value myself enough to spend time with me. This shift in perspective is crucial. When you embrace solitude, you stop relying on others to fill the gaps in your life. You realize that you are enough, just as you are. And that realization is liberating. It frees you from the need for constant validation. It helps you see that your worth isn't tied to how many people surround you or how much attention you receive. Solitude also gives you the chance to rebuild, to set new boundaries, to create a vision for the future that aligns with your values. It's a period of growth, a time to strengthen your foundation so that when you do invite new people or opportunities into your life, they're the right ones. So if you find yourself standing alone, don't see it as a loss. See it as a gift. This is your time to rediscover who you are, to reconnect with your strength, and to prepare for the amazing possibilities ahead. Solitude isn't the end of the story, it's the chapter where you become unstoppable. When you step into solitude, something incredible begins to happen. You start rebuilding your self-worth. It's like clearing away the rubble after a storm and laying a new foundation, stronger and more resilient than before. But rebuilding doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it starts with understanding one simple truth. Your worth isn't determined by others. For too long, you may have tied your sense of value to how others treated you. If they praised you, you felt worthy. If they ignored or criticized you, you questioned yourself. But here is what you need to remember. Your worth is not up for debate. It doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's opinion. It's constant, unchanging, and completely independent of how anyone else perceives you. The first step to rebuilding your self-worth is self-acceptance. This means embracing who you are, flaws, strengths, and everything in between. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I am enough, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. When you accept yourself, you stop seeking approval from others because you no longer need it. Next comes self-respect. Ask yourself, are you treating yourself the way you want others to treat you? Are you setting boundaries, speaking kindly to yourself, and prioritizing your needs? Respect starts within. The more you honor yourself, the less likely you are to tolerate disrespect from others. Another key to rebuilding your self-worth is self-investment. Spend time doing things that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Learn something new, pursue your passions, or take care of your health. Each step you take to improve yourself reinforces the belief that you are worth the effort. But here is where it gets challenging. Rebuilding self-worth also means confronting the negative voices in your head. The ones that say you are not good enough or you'll never succeed. These voices are often echoes of past experiences, but they don't define you. You have the power to rewrite that narrative. Instead of listening to those doubts, choose to speak words of encouragement to yourself. Say, I am capable, or I deserve happiness. Remember, rebuilding your self-worth is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking small, consistent steps every day to remind yourself of your value. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer to a dear friend. As you rebuild, you'll notice something amazing. The more you value yourself, the more others will value you too. The energy you project attracts people who respect and appreciate you for who you are. And those who don't, they'll naturally fade away because they no longer align with the person you are becoming. One of the most transformative things you can do for your self-worth is to set boundaries. It's not just about saying no when something doesn't feel right. It's about declaring to the world that your time, energy, and peace are valuable. Boundaries aren't walls. They're the guidelines that protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They are a declaration that you deserve to be treated with respect, and they send a powerful message to others. You are not willing to tolerate disrespect or dishonesty. But here's the catch. Setting boundaries can be uncomfortable, especially when you've spent a long time allowing others to push your limits. The fear of upsetting someone, the guilt of disappointing others, or the anxiety of being perceived as difficult can make it feel impossible to assert your needs. But here is the truth. Allowing these fears to control you will only leave you drained, resentful, and undervalued. The first step in setting boundaries is recognizing that you have the right to protect your peace. Think of it like guarding a precious treasure. You wouldn't let anyone just walk into your home and take what's important to you, would you? Your peace, your emotions, and your energy are just as valuable. No one has the right to trample on that. Setting boundaries also means being honest with yourself about what you can and cannot tolerate. Ask yourself, what drains me? What makes me feel small, ignored, or undervalued? These are the areas where boundaries need to be drawn. Whether it's a toxic friend who constantly undermines your achievements, or a colleague who takes credit for your work, you don't have to tolerate it. Setting a boundary doesn't make you rude, it makes you strong. Once you've identified where boundaries are needed, the next step is communicating them clearly. This is where many people struggle. They fear rejection or the backlash of others, but the truth is, those who respect you will understand. Setting boundaries is about protecting your well-being, not controlling others. You don't need to be aggressive, but you do need to be firm and unapologetic. Sometimes people will push back. They may try to guilt trip you or make you feel selfish for taking care of yourself. But that's a sign that your boundaries are necessary. If people truly care about you, they will respect your limits. Those who don't, they're not the people you want in your life. Setting boundaries also means practicing self-compassion. It's easy to feel guilty or doubt yourself, especially when you first start drawing lines. But remind yourself, your needs matter. You deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and saying no isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of self-love. As you start setting boundaries, you'll notice something amazing. You'll feel lighter, more at peace, and empowered. You'll stop seeking validation from others because you'll be more focused on maintaining your own integrity. And the right people will start to appear, the ones who honor your boundaries, respect your needs, and build you up, not tear you down. Remember, boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They are bridges that lead to healthier, more authentic relationships. When you protect your peace, you create space for the kind of connections that nourish your soul. There comes a point in every person's journey where they must decide, do I stay in this situation or do I walk away? Walking away is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of courage. It's the moment you realize that your peace, your happiness, and your self-worth are more important than holding on to something that no longer serves you. The idea of walking away is often painted with a sense of fear. People may tell you, you can't just walk away from everything, or what if you regret it? But here is the truth: regret comes from staying where you don't belong, not from moving on to better things. The real question is, what will you lose if you stay in a situation that drains you, disrespects you, or keeps you stuck? Psychologically, the fear of walking away comes from a place of attachment. As humans, we're wired to hold on to what we know, even if it's not good for us. We fear the unknown because it feels safer to stay in a familiar situation, even if that situation brings us pain or disappointment. But staying out of fear only keeps you tied to a cycle of dissatisfaction. Walking away, on the other hand, creates space for something new, something better, something that aligns with who you are and who you want to become. When you choose to walk away, you choose to protect your peace. You choose to honor your worth and refuse to settle for anything less than respect and love. But that doesn't mean the decision is easy. In fact, it can be one of the hardest decisions you'll ever make. You may feel the pull of doubt, the fear of being alone, or the worry that you'll never find something better. But know this: walking away is not about rejecting others, it's about accepting yourself. It's about saying, I am worth more than this, and I deserve better. Walking away is not an act of running away from challenges. It's an act of facing your own truth. It's standing up for yourself in the face of adversity and choosing to move towards something that aligns with your values. It's understanding that your happiness is not tied to someone else's approval or behavior, but to the choices you make for your own well-being. Think of it this way: when you walk away from what no longer serves you, you create room for growth. You give yourself the freedom to explore new opportunities, meet new people, and experience life on your terms. The fear of the unknown is real, but it's also a place where new beginnings flourish. You cannot grow if you are stuck in the same place. You cannot reach your full potential if you keep clinging to what holds you back. So, embrace the courage to walk away. Trust yourself enough to know that leaving behind what no longer serves you will lead to something better. It's not about running away from difficulties. It's about moving toward a future that honors your worth and your potential. The path to your best self is waiting for you. Take that step. You've already shown the strength it takes to let go. Now continue to walk forward with your head held high, knowing that you deserve the very best. T here is a powerful shift that happens when you walk away from situations that drain you or hold you back. It's not just about distancing yourself from toxic relationships or environments. It's about reconnecting with something far more important: your own inner strength. But to do that, you must rebuild one essential thing: your trust in yourself. Trusting yourself means having confidence in your ability to make the right choices, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. It's about believing that no matter what, you have the resilience to overcome challenges and stay true to your values. But if you've been through betrayal or hurt, it can be hard to trust your own judgment. Doubt creeps in, and you begin to question whether you'll ever make the right decisions again. Here is the truth: self-doubt is a natural response to past hurt, but it doesn't define you. The fact that you are still standing, still moving forward, shows that you already possess the strength to navigate life's challenges. Trusting yourself isn't about perfection. It's about embracing your humanity, your capacity to learn, and your ability to grow from each experience. Psychologically, building trust in yourself requires self-compassion. It's about understanding that mistakes are part of being human, and they don't diminish your value. Every choice you make, good or bad, contributes to your growth and teaches you something valuable. When you trust yourself, you don't fear failure. Instead, you see it as an opportunity to learn and become better. The key to trusting yourself again is forgiveness, not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. Maybe you stayed in a situation longer than you should have. Maybe you ignored red flags or allowed someone to treat you poorly. It's time to let go of the guilt. You made the best decisions you could at the time with the information you had. Holding on to regret only hinders your progress. When you forgive yourself, you release the burden of past mistakes and make space for new, more empowering choices. Trusting yourself also means listening to your intuition. Your gut has an incredible way of guiding you toward what's right for you. The more you listen to that inner voice, the clearer it becomes. Every time you act on your intuition and see the positive outcomes, your trust in yourself grows stronger. It's a cycle of self-reinforcement. The more you trust yourself, the better decisions you make, and the more you trust yourself in the future. Building self-trust also requires creating a track record of integrity. Do what you say you will do. Follow through on your commitments to yourself, whether it's prioritizing your health, setting boundaries, or investing in your personal growth. Every time you honor your word, you reaffirm your trust in yourself. Remember, you are your most reliable ally. There will always be situations outside of your control, but your ability to trust yourself, your strength, your judgment, and your resilience will never fail you. Trusting yourself is the foundation on which you will build the life you deserve. It's time to take back the reins. Trust in your power, your wisdom, and your ability to shape the life you want. You've got everything you need within you. Trust yourself, and the world will begin to reflect that belief back to you. T here is an undeniable power in letting go. It might feel counterintuitive at first. How could releasing something or someone give you strength? But the truth is, letting go is one of the most empowering choices you can make. It's not about giving up. It's about freeing yourself from what no longer serves your growth and your happiness. Letting go isn't easy. Whether it's a relationship, a job, an old habit, or even a past version of yourself, detaching from what you've known can feel like a loss. But in reality, it's an act of courage. It's the recognition that you are worthy of more than what is holding you back. It's the moment you realize that in order to move forward, you have to create space for the new, the unknown, and the better that awaits you. Psychologically, holding on to things that no longer serve us can be exhausting. It ties up your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions in something that doesn't contribute to your well-being. It's like trying to carry a heavy load. While walking uphill, it drags you down and slows your progress. When you let go, you lighten your burden and free up space to move forward with renewed energy and purpose. The key to letting go is acceptance. It's understanding that not everything is meant to last forever, and that's okay. People, situations, and circumstances come into our lives for reasons, sometimes to teach us lessons, sometimes to challenge us, and sometimes to help us grow. But just because something was important once doesn't mean it has to stay in your life forever. By accepting this truth, you can release any attachment to what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. Letting go also requires self-awareness. When you let go of something or someone, it's important to reflect on why you held on in the first place. Was it fear of the unknown, a desire to please others, a hope that things might eventually change? Recognizing the underlying reasons behind your attachments allows you to break free from patterns of behavior that no longer serve you. T here is a freedom that comes from detaching from toxic relationships or unhealthy environments. It's not that you are giving up on people, you are giving up on the negative energy they bring into your life. You are choosing to surround yourself with positivity, respect, and love. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you open up space for the right people and opportunities to enter your life, those that will help you grow and move closer to the person you want to be. And sometimes letting go means walking away from past versions of yourself. Perhaps you were once defined by the opinions of others, or you were afraid to stand up for what you believed in. But that was then, and this is now. You've changed, you've learned, and it's time to let go of the self-doubt, the fear, and the limitations you once held on to. The only version of yourself that matters is the one that is free to evolve and grow. So let go of the weight that's holding you back. Let go of the doubts, the regrets, and the fears. And with every step you take toward releasing what no longer serves you, remember this: you are creating space for the life you deserve. A life that's filled with opportunity, growth, and the peace that comes from knowing you are free. Solitude is often misunderstood. In a world that constantly pushes for connection, interaction, and validation, being alone is often seen as something to fear. But in truth, solitude is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. It's in these moments of quiet, when no one is around to influence your thoughts or decisions, that you connect most deeply with yourself. At first, solitude may feel uncomfortable. It might trigger feelings of loneliness or fear of being disconnected. But these feelings are only temporary. Once you embrace solitude, you begin to realize that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means giving yourself the opportunity to be fully present with yourself without distractions, without judgment, and without the constant need to seek approval from others. Psychologically, solitude provides clarity. It's easy to get lost in the noise of the world, the opinions of others, the expectations, the obligations. But when you step back and take time for yourself, you regain a sense of perspective. You can hear your own thoughts, recognize your own desires, and understand your true feelings. Solitude helps you see things clearly without the clouding influence of external voices. One of the greatest gifts of solitude is the ability to rediscover your passions. Often we get caught up in the hustle of life trying to meet the demands of others, that we lose touch with what truly excites us. Solitude gives you the space to reconnect with your dreams, your creativity, and your purpose. It's in these quiet moments that inspiration strikes and new ideas take shape. Solitude also fosters self-reliance. When you spend time alone, you learn how to rely on your own strengths. You become more resourceful, more confident in your abilities. You realize that you don't need anyone else to define your worth, and you don't need anyone else to validate your decisions. You can trust yourself, your instincts, and your capacity to navigate life on your own terms. But solitude isn't just about introspection, it's also about healing. When you are always surrounded by others, it's easy to avoid confronting your own pain or unresolved emotions. Solitude offers a safe space to process these feelings, to heal from past hurts, and to release the emotional baggage that's been weighing you down. In this space of stillness, you can come face to face with your vulnerabilities and transform them into sources of strength. It's also in solitude that you can build resilience. Life doesn't always go as planned, and there will be times when you face hardship and uncertainty. But when you learn to embrace solitude, you become more adaptable. You begin to trust in your own ability to face challenges and navigate obstacles. Instead of depending on others to lift you up, you learn how to stand strong on your own, knowing that you have everything within you to overcome whatever comes your way. Finally, solitude allows you to connect with your true self. It's in these moments of quiet that you rediscover who you really are, beneath the layers of expectations and roles you play for others. You come to understand your values, your desires, and your boundaries. You learn to love yourself not for what you do, but for who you are. Solitude is not something to fear. It's not a punishment. It's a privilege. It's your opportunity to grow, to heal, and to rise into the person you were always meant to be. Embrace it, and watch yourself become stronger, clearer, and more powerful than ever before. Self-acceptance is one of the most liberating choices you can make. For so long, many people struggle with trying to meet external standards, whether they're set by society, family, or even their own expectations. We live in a world where comparison is constant, where people feel the pressure to fit into molds that don't align with their true selves. But true freedom comes when you accept yourself as you are, without conditions, without judgment. Accepting yourself means embracing both your strengths and your imperfections. It's about acknowledging that you are a work in progress, and that's perfectly okay. Every part of you, the good and the bad, is a piece of your unique story. Your mistakes, your failures, and your flaws are not things to hide, they are things that make you human. They are the experiences that have shaped you, and in many ways, they are what make you stronger. The most powerful form of self-acceptance is letting go of the need for approval from others. It's realizing that your worth is not determined by someone else's opinion of you. This is easier said than done, especially when you've spent your life seeking validation from those around you. But when you start to understand that your value comes from within, you free yourself from the chains of comparison and judgment. You stop measuring yourself by someone else's yardstick, and instead, you learn to appreciate the unique qualities that make you who you are. Self-acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It's not about resigning yourself to mediocrity or refusing to grow. In fact, accepting yourself is the first step toward real personal growth. It's the foundation from which you build a life that aligns with your true purpose. When you accept yourself, you stop beating yourself up for every mistake, and instead you start focusing on learning from them. You stop wishing you were someone else and begin the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. Psychologically, self-acceptance brings peace. The constant battle with your own self-worth, the need to prove yourself, the fear of being judged, the desire to be liked takes a toll. But when you finally accept who you are, those worries begin to fade. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You stop seeking perfection and instead focus on authenticity. The peace that comes with self-acceptance allows you to live in the present moment without the weight of constantly questioning if you are enough. Self-acceptance also means setting yourself free from regret. Too often, people are haunted by past decisions, mistakes, or missed opportunities. They allow these experiences to define them, to dictate their sense of worth. But when you accept yourself fully, you understand that you can't change the past, and you don't need to. The past is not who you are, it's simply part of your story. Every experience has brought you to where you are today, and every step, no matter how painful, has contributed to your growth. When you accept yourself, you also give yourself permission to let go of toxic relationships. You stop tolerating people who don't respect you, who don't value you, and who only drain your energy. When you truly accept yourself, you begin to understand your worth, and you stop accepting anything less than the love, respect, and kindness you deserve. Self-acceptance isn't a destination. It's a continuous journey. It's about waking up each day and choosing to love yourself, flaws and all. It's about recognizing that you are worthy simply because you exist. The freedom that comes from accepting yourself is the key to unlocking a life filled with authenticity, peace, and growth. Remember, you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to change for anyone. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. It needs you in all your beautiful, imperfect, authentic glory. Now that you've learned to trust yourself, let go of the past, embrace solitude, and accept who you truly are, the only thing left to do is to move forward. Movement is power. Progress is freedom. It doesn't matter how far behind you may have fallen or how many setbacks you've faced. What matters now is that you take the next step and the next and keep moving forward. Moving forward doesn't mean you forget the past. The past is a part of you. It's what has shaped you into who you are today. But the difference is, when you move forward, you no longer allow the past to control your present. You no longer live in regret or fear. Instead, you channel everything you've learned into building a future that aligns with your vision. One of the most powerful things about moving forward is the simple fact that you are no longer stuck. Each decision to take one more step, even if it feels small, brings you closer to your goals. Every action you take, no matter how seemingly insignificant, propels you in the right direction. In the journey of life, it's not about how fast you go, but the direction you are heading in. Every step forward is progress, no matter how small. Psychologically, movement is a source of hope. When you feel stuck in your circumstances, the world can seem overwhelming. But when you choose to move forward, even if it's just one step at a time, you create momentum. Momentum builds confidence. It shifts your mindset from one of helplessness to one of empowerment. Every time you move forward, you reinforce the belief that you have the power to create your own future. Moving forward is also about embracing the unknown. It's easy to stay in familiar place. Comfort zones feel safe, even if they're not where we need to be. But to grow, you have to step into uncertainty. The unknown is where opportunities lie. It's where new possibilities emerge, and where you discover strengths and talents you didn't even know you had. By moving forward, you take the leap into a future that's full of potential. And don't forget, failure is part of the journey. The road ahead is not always smooth, and there will be obstacles along the way. But each failure is an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a lesson in resilience. The most successful people aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who get back up after every fall, who keep pushing forward no matter how many times they stumble. As you move forward, keep reminding yourself that you are enough. You have everything within you to succeed. Every choice you make, every action you take is an investment in your future. You are not defined by your past, by the opinions of others, or by the challenges you've faced. You are defined by your ability to keep moving forward. If you found value in this message, and you believe it's time for you to start moving forward with strength and purpose, take a moment now to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another powerful message that will keep you on the path to greatness. Remember, the future belongs to those who keep moving forward, who believe in themselves, and who never give up. The best version of your life is waiting for you on the other side of every step you take. So, take that first step. Keep moving forward. Your future is in your hands.